the influence of television in baseball, hugely escalating player salaries, suspensions. But baseball survived. Thanks largely to this man, the maintenance of his emotional equanimity. He did peak out early while running the scoreboard at Old Griffith Stadium in Washington. But then he came along to write a book, Hardball, The Education of a Baseball Commissioner. I hope every one of you, and I'm happy to make this plug, gets a chance to read that book, because Mr. Kuhn dispassionately, accurately recounts, and indeed got a rave review in the New York Times book review section, accurately recounts what happened during his tenure as commissioner.
When one looks at the career of Bowie Kuhn, one is actually looking at the story of baseball. His life, a behind-the-scenes story of the 16 years he was commissioner of baseball. He witnessed and influenced some of the most significant and fascinating developments in the history of our national pastime. As commissioner, he was filled with a passion for the game. When he became commissioner, baseball was faced with increased competition from other forms of entertainment. Attendance at games was dropping, and many teams suffered from poor management and marketing. When he retired, the game was flourishing. His decisions, actions, and influences in times of controversy and strikes were baseball's saving grace. His knowledge and foresight about baseball were truly remarkable, and this is evidenced in his book called Hardball, The Education of a Baseball Commissioner. Mr. Kuhn's career in many ways serves as a history text of baseball's turbulent times.
Well, I've already mentioned the closest he ever came to action was as a scoreboard boy at Griffith Stadium. I had personally felt the last all-star game ever played at Griffith Stadium, for your information, was in 1956, and a very young third baseman became the game's most valuable player. He is now deceased, really, but relatively recently so. His name, Kenny Boyer. But Bowie wanted to keep the game forever at Griffith Stadium. He wanted to keep Griffith Stadium there forever because his dream is to see baseball return to our nation's capital, where it should be. In any event, the Sporting News wisely named him Man of the Year in 1983. Mr. Richard Waters, president of the Sporting News, is here to present the award to Mr. Bowie Kuhn now.
Thank you very much, Dick, and thank you, Howard. I am profoundly grateful to the United States Sports Academy for this truly marvelous award. Obviously, during the long career I had in sports, and still having in a way, I could not have achieved any of the things that perhaps I did achieve without the loving support of my wife, Louisa, and of my children. And I could not stand up here and address this subject without mentioning the others who also made it possible, and tell you of my gratefulness to them. Charlie Finley, George Steinbrenner, Marvin Miller, Ted Turner, you get the idea.